Twin Cities Real Estate Unlimited show. And we're just going to be recording this today and going over some loan documentation procedures and what you all need for loans with Brian Nelson, with my Mortgages Unlimited partner over there. And you're located out of Maple Groves. And our contact information I'm going to be putting up on the screen in just a little bit, Brian, but I'm going to throw the show over to you so you can screen share and show what you've got. But just real quick too, I'm Laurie Knudson with the MLSonline.com. I kind of always forget to introduce myself. So here you go, Brian. I've got your camera up and you can go ahead and share screen.
Perfect. Well, again, my name is Brian Nelson. Thank you, Laurie. And I'm broadcasting from Maple Grove, our corporate headquarters of Mortgages Unlimited. Wanted to thank you for joining our show today. And today we wanted to talk about some of the standard documentation that a loan would need, even if you went to any mortgage company. So I've got a screen here I wanted to share with you, pulling it up. And what this has is the column on the left applies to every transaction. This is basic information that you'll be needing. The first thing is we need a copy of your ID to prove who you are, usually a driver's license works just fine. Then we get into income and assets, and that's what we need to document you have the ability to pay. So first thing we're going to need is 30 days worth of pay stubs or retirement income. We're going to need your last 2 years of W-2s, and we're also going to need the last 2 years of your federal tax returns. And along with that, if there's any gaps, we'll need to have an explanation of that. If you're receiving any other type of income like Social Security, you'll need something from that. And if we're using school as part of your 2-year job history, we'll need to have that information, something from the school showing that you went to school. Then going into assets, we're going to need your last 2 months of bank statements. And a common mistake that people have is sometimes they only send in one page. Or, you know, Laurie, when you get your bank statement, it always says this page is left intentionally blank. Mm-hmm. You know, you're kind of like, well, now you'll know the reason why is we need that, even if it says this page left intentionally blank, just because we have to have all pages and we can't have any of them missing. There can't be anything blacked out or anything like that either. Same goes for any like retirement accounts, 401ks, things like that. And then we're going to look at your deposits on those. Any larger deposit, we're going to have to source and season where it came from. So those are some of the standard things.
And real quick here, so many people get their statements online, and I would think when I give my tax accountant my information, I do almost everything onto a flash drive for her or a thumb drive, and I just use the electronic version and bring it into a PDF, or I scan it even and bring it into a PDF. So all of these documents can be done basically online. You don't need printed forms. You could do a lot of this online, correct? Okay, good.
We do. We're paperless environment, and the only thing I caution people about is we can't really use screenshots because oftentimes it doesn't have your account or your name and along with the institution name on it. And but people do a lot of online banking, so we can get bank statements that way. One important thing to notice, the difference between a bank statement and a transaction history. Bank statements come out monthly or whenever your period ends, and then a transaction history is in between those statements. And so, like for instance, if you've written the earnest money check and we're waiting for it to clear rather than waiting a whole nother month, what we do is we just get a transaction history. You know, maybe it was a few days after your statement closed. If it ended April 10th and it was cashed on April 12th, then you could get a transaction history covering that. Now, the second column kind of is not applicable to everyone, but if you had a gift, we would need information from the gift or the donor on that. If you had a divorce where you were having to pay or receive money, we would need information on that. Student loans or additional properties, different things like that. If you had a bankruptcy, we'd need something on that. And we need a copy of the earnest money check showing in the purchase agreement, different things like that. So, but this kind of gives you a general idea of the standard documentation that we need on pretty much any loan that we do out there.
Okay, fantastic. Yeah, it makes total sense. And this kind of information is all available on your website. With a click of the button, apply here.
Yes, that is correct. Yes.
Okay.
And so they can, and I send that out every time when I'm working with somebody, so they know that list right away as well. So
sure. And realistically, I mean, this is going to take just a little while to gather the information, but if you worked at it for a couple hours in the evening, you probably could gather that documentation after work, and most people have it accessible to them at some point, and
yeah, it usually won't take them very long. It's just a matter of where they stuck it. And they probably have a lot of the copies already online, those versions of it. So, I mean, you could probably in 15, 20 minutes have most of the stuff pulled together.
Yep.
And like the recent pay stubs that you may have to scan. A lot of people have scanners, or they can fax it. There's a lot of different methods that people can do it.
Yeah, no, I think it's great. And again, I think that even if they can get the majority of it to you and then get any missing documents to you later too, like in a day or two, correct?
That is correct, yes.
All right, good. All right, well, I've got some screens to share too. So right now I'm going to start out with the average sale price for the Twin Cities. This is as of, I'm going to shrink that down just a little bit. Can you see that all right, Brian?
I can, but it is a little small, so you may want to expand it back out.
Go there?
Yeah.
Okay, good to know. I know it gets a little big, but my screen is probably showing it bigger than yours is. But this is a resource that we as realtors have by belonging to our regional MLS or real estate board. And there is a little bit of a difference, actually a big difference between just a real estate agent and one that is a realtor. And I want to point that out. So realtors have a certain code of ethics that we abide by, and we follow rules that are not, say, like laws on the books rules, but they are rules that we abide by in our professional standards. And that's how we can become part of our North Star MLS, the multiple list service. The company I am with is the MLSonline.com. We are kind of a tech-driven company. We do have the word or the acronym MLS in our name. However, we are not the actual MLS. We are just a real estate company that is pretty good at our tech-driven information and sourcing. And so you'll notice that with the MLSonline.com, we have many agents throughout the Twin Cities. We all, as realtors throughout the cities, have access to this data. I pulled up the average sale price. I can also pull it up as in the median sale price, but this is showing how since 2013, we've seen a nice steady increase up until now. And so it is going to be right in the about 267 range. This is pulling, each report is 12 months activity. So we have a month or a year here and a year here. And if you were to look at this in the live version, which oftentimes I put on my Facebook page, you can actually toggle it along the lines here and see the exacts. And I can do that within the system here. This is the actual product that I use for the fees that we pay as realtors. We get this information. So you can see that if we would go to here, now this is December 2015, and now here we are at the 265,868. And so that's a good average price range. Now I also could just bring up a certain community. Let's pull up, let's say Maple Grove, and pull up just the city. I had neighborhood and all sorts of other choices there, but I can compare a couple of areas. This comes in really handy when we're looking at, for a buyer, what kind of house can we get in the Twin Cities general versus Maple Grove. And I knew Maple Grove was going to come up a little higher. It traditionally does. I can also narrow this down to just single family. I can do just new construction or previously owned. And this is including all seller types, so I can do just traditional. And so we can do bedrooms, and I can also do waterfront. So one of the areas that I like to work with, and I think we talked about it on the last slide, was, let's say, the Wright County area, because there's lots of lakes in that area. And now if I go to private waterfront, we really see a difference how you can get a home out in Annandale area, which is in Wright County, or Maple Lake, or even the Monticello area. And we could narrow this down by town too, I want you to know, but I'm just bringing it up by county. You can get a whole lot more home size, bedrooms, what have you, for a lot less dollars out in the Wright County area versus the Maple Grove area versus the Twin Cities. And now when you bring the Twin Cities in here, you're looking at more upper value, and that would be because the Twin Cities would encapsulate the Wayzata, Minnetonka, White Bear Lake, all those Lake Calhouns, all those lake properties, because I went to private waterfront only. So this is a really good example. And then of course I share it out onto my social networking, all sorts of different ways like this. And when you, and I know that's probably smaller, but again, you can see how it becomes live. I hope you can see the dots moving.
Yep, you can.
So when you're looking at this type of graph, you know, really we can bring it down by the city. And so Brian, you had talked last show about how the USDA loans were available in the outlying areas. So we could pick those up on a chart within InfoSparks and pull those areas up and compare Isanti County to Wright County like this, and really see what would get the buyer the more bang for the buck with dollar value. And I'm going to go to all types of construction here, leaving it very generic. So Isanti you would get more house for the money versus Wright County. And those areas both qualify for that USDA program. And so this is just to show the consumers out there, whether you're selling or buying, that these charts and data points that we have as realtors can help you make a more educated buying decision. And then you can sit down with your lender and have the conversation of where might be the best place for us to look, right?
That's right, exactly. With Laurie's expertise in coming up with values and what's a good value, and with my expertise in the loan department, why we can get you all set without any issues.
We really can. And then I have this last chart. Can you see this one okay, or should I make it bigger, Brian?
I can see the chart okay. You can have to explain some of the data.
Yep, and I can do that. So let me bring that into a bigger picture here. This is showing the month's supply for homes for sale, just Wright County and Isanti. And it's saying that in 2013, we had a lot of houses on the market because there was a lot of foreclosures yet. There was even more in 2010. But there was a good 5.5 almost months of inventory, meaning it would take 5.5 months for us to run out of housing for the buyers that were looking. And now you can see the ski hill that we've hit. And this doesn't mean zero housing, but this is saying there's only 3.5 months of housing inventory available in these two counties. So that is my last kind of point to make, is if you are looking for homes, we run into this so often at our company, and so do all the other real estate companies. I think every realtor will sit there and nod their head at this. We get calls to go look at a home, and we're happy to show the home, but we need you as buyers to get pre-qualified with a lender who's reputable and understands these programs such as Brian. Because if you go out to look at these homes and all of a sudden you're just looking at this little teeny inventory out there, I mean, locally in the cities, we're looking at 1 week on the market if the house is priced correctly. If you're not pre-qualified with a quality lender, you're basically good, or you have cash, one or the other, you're going to get overlooked. The other realtor that has got the property listed has an obligation for the seller to get the most qualified and best offer in the door. And you're not going to be looked at as a qualified buyer. So it's super important that you get a meeting with your realtor and at the same time your lender. And Brian and I both have our contact information on our Twin Cities Real Estate Unlimited Show community page. I can hopefully bring this up a little bit bigger. And on there, you'll see some of the posts that we've put out here, as well as past shows. They're all recorded in here. And you can go ahead and give a listen. And there's all sorts of good information for buying or selling in here. Feel free to go to the videos page here. Brian, did you know that you have all these videos of us out here?
Yes, I was gonna say, people can choose and pick a topic they want, and
Yep.
and then they can listen on it and learn more.
Yep, and feel free to send us a message. As I said, all of our contact information is in here. If you just click the screen, you're going to be able to get all that information. So we're making it very easy for you to become a more qualified seller or buyer. And with that in mind, I will go ahead and stop screen sharing. So it's just back to you and I. Anything you want to add, kiddo, before we say goodbye for this show?
Well, I would just add that we would like to educate you more. And if you're enjoying listening to us and know anybody, spread the word about us. And Laurie and I would love to help you or somebody you know get into a home. Now's the time to do it. So
Right.
no better time than the present.
And on that Facebook page, you can always share that information with anybody you know that might need to get more education. By the way, we do one-on-ones live and in person as well, don't we?
Yes, we certainly do, though. That's not old-fashioned yet.
Right, right. So whatever works out best for our clients. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and sign off. I'm Laurie with the MLSonline.com in Champlin. And Brian, you are located out of Maple Grove.
Yep,
and
Unlimited.
Mortgages Unlimited. So go ahead and contact us and see our Facebook page for any questions you might have. You can talk to us that way as well.
Thanks a lot, everyone. Have a great day.
Have a good day. Bye-bye.